So, like a lot of people, it's taken a lot of work for you to even put a black and white case forward, because a lot of people they would, I'm going to take him to court kind of ish. It's not as simple as that. So, do you want to give us like a timeline from when you decided to take him to court to when you got the judgment? How long did it take, and how much work did you have to put in to basically win that court case? Do you want to just give us a rough idea?
Sure. Well, as you know, a judicial review has to be mounted within 3 months of the scheme being announced. There's 2 traffic management orders. One comes out to explain what's happening, and then I think it's 7 or 14 days later, the second one is the ratification. It doesn't matter when the work starts. It's not from that point. It's when the second TMO is published, and this is what we're going to do. We had 3 months to challenge that scheme, and the street space plan guidance. But we had looking at systems well before we decided, and we have been doing a huge amount of background work on case law, on what we needed to prove, what was going to be easy, what was going to be more difficult, and what was going to be nigh on impossible. Take everything into consideration. And we were working, myself, Trevor, and Aaron, from the UTAG board point of view. We were working 7 days a week, especially Karen. If it was 8 days, that girl would have been working 8 days a week. She put in hundreds and hundreds of unpaid hours. And our legal team worked for it for months. And it's not just a case of going to the court and saying, right, here we are, this is our case. First of all, they had to do permission for a judicial review. And for that permission, we had to do submissions, why we wanted a judicial review, on which grounds we wanted the judicial review, our grounds for appeal. We had to lodge that. And then, of course, once we lodged that, Transport for London came back with grounds of resistance, why they didn't want us to appeal. And that they put the contra arguments in. So once we've read their grounds of resistance, we have to go back with them. Second, this is why we want this to succeed. This is why we think it's challengeable. And the first judge looked at it, he said, I think this is a planning issue. I need to send it to the planning court. So it went to the planning court, and Sir Ross Cranston gave us permission to appeal. So we didn't need to go to an oral hearing. He gave us permission to appeal on special status and legitimate expectation. He didn't give us the right to appeal on the Equalities Act, the PSED, the A1P1 of the human rights, and irrationality. But thought that we had to challenge this. So if needs be, we will have an oral hearing. So TfL and the Mayor's Office did everything they have these 3 struck out for good. But Mrs. Justice decided that she would roll up our next these 3 struck out things reheard. You roll that up with the judicial review, and so that's what the case was on for over 2 days. And when we our legal team re-argued public sector equality duty, A1P1, and the irrationality. She said, yes, in my view, they are arguable, and you can use after the judicial review. And thank goodness our legal team did go back and say, no, we must, these are our arguments why we must have this heard. Because apart from the A1P1, we won the ground. So it's a huge amount of work.
And if you don't mind, roughly ballpark figure, you don't have to give me exact, how much financial resources did you have to put onto this, like a rough ballpark figure? So just to give people an idea that you can't go to the High Court with 20 quid or 50 quid on the table. How rough ballpark figure?
All I can say, it's six figures.
Gotcha.
So
Guys,
it is expensive. It really is expensive.
Gotcha.
And you get for what we went to. I mean, we were told by people, you're just lining lawyers' pockets, you'll never win with TfL on the mayor. But what we said is not lining lawyers' pockets, you are paying for their expertise. If you want a chance to win, you're taking on a case of this size, then you need the big guns. TfL brought out the big guns. They employed Ben Jackson, who is from same chambers as Lord Panic, who represented Gina Miller when she took the government to court for illegally proroguing Parliament. So they come from chambers. Where they get money from when they've had to go all this cap in hand to government to bail out TfL so they can have the money to put the heating on it in their offices, crikey only knows. But we can only assume they're so confident that they were going to win and we would have to pay the cost, that money was no object. And it just shows that you can take on these people. If you're taking on local boroughs, like I know certain boroughs are, they have groups that are taking on their local boroughs, then it may not come to that amount. We were taking on the mayor and the regulator, and we knew that they were going to throw everything, put all the shutters up and come at us with the big guns, and we needed an even stronger army to go for them.
Well, just to let listeners know that people are you can get legal aid for judicial review. So if you're on benefits and you feel that your rights have been discriminated against, so for example the public sector equality duty, then you do get legal aid. So someone else pays for the legal bills, but so there is legal aid for judicial review for people.
Legal aid is an avenue that people can explore, but it wasn't available to us because we had the funds. We got thousands of people backing us, thousands of donators.
So this issue has become big in all these London boroughs. I know Hackney are taking their local authority to court. They're raising money. I know there's been a recent judgment in Camden where they quashed their temporary traffic order. Other councils have rolled back. Wandsworth have reversed their scheme. Sutton have reversed the scheme. Some have sort of like stopped rolling them out. I think Redbridge have stopped rolling them out, and others have sort of like delayed it. Like I know, speaking to colleagues in Haringey, they've taken a very slow approach, step by step, to get it right, kind of ish. And I think they've started the consultation right now, just learning from lessons, etc., especially equality impact assessments about the use of cars and who uses those cars or those modes of transport, and getting that data in.